Welcome to the B2B Legend Show by Oneflow. I'm Josephine, your host, and on this show we dive into the stories behind some of the legends in the B2B world. Each episode we chat with industry leaders to explore their journeys, challenges, and insights. In today's episode we're joined by Benedikt Mundorf, who will share his career journey with us. We'll explore his experiences, dive into sales strategies, social selling, and his take on the future of the sales industry. Hello everyone, today we have Benedikt Mundorf here, account executive at Pleo. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to the show.
Josephine, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to work with you at Oneflow, and you have a really exciting show coming ahead. So I'm super happy to be here. It's been a long week, but I'm really excited for the conversation ahead. And looking forward to the feedback we will get. So please, if you listen to this on your favorite platform, hit us up, either Josephine or me, and say us if you like the show and it was helpful.
Awesome. Thank you for that. We're really gonna get to know you in this episode, really to learn your career journey and the path you've taken to end up basically where you are today. So why won't you just kind of walk us through from where you began and how you ended up in the position that you are today?
Yeah, great question. And I sometimes ask that myself as well when I bicycle to work, because like probably everybody else listening to the show right now, you're not born that and you decide you want to be in sales. Usually you are in sales because there was a specific circumstance and you just fall into it. And it was the same for me. I had the opportunity to study a bachelor in marketing, and then I went to Lund in Sweden and studied a classic management master, which I was trying to do to become a consultant, because that is, I thought I would be good at it.
Yeah.
And the fun part was that we all got a job in my class, which was super exciting. It wasn't easy to get through those cases, and you're really nervous because you don't know if you're actually good enough to compete with all the rest. But I was really lucky to secure myself a spot in consulting as well. But then I remember, like yesterday, one of my smartest classmates came along and said, there's this small little thing called COVID in China right now, and we're probably going to lose all our jobs. And we were all laughing at this because we didn't think that would be a big thing. But eventually, 2 weeks later, we all got the phone call one after another that we could not start our jobs because the consulting industry was hit very hard because, there were not so many projects. Luckily, I had a lot of friends working in software sales, so at Personio or Salesforce. So they all told me, hey, I think you would really like this international environment, the fast-paced environment in sales, so why are you not looking into sales? So I applied for 2 companies, Salesforce and a small little startup in Stockholm called Albacross, to get into software sales, because this was my only option. I wasn't really keen on trying to do another master. So I got both offers for Salesforce and Albacross as an SDR. And I decided to stay in Stockholm because I had a great leader that really wanted to hire me. It was super low paid. It was not prestigious. It was just hard work, but I really fell in love with the role because it was really fast paced. I had a super good manager. So I was able to first start as an intern for 3 months. Then I got the normal role. After additional 3 months, I got promoted to senior. And after 3 months after that, I got promoted to manager. So I was already after 8 months leading an entire outbound team. And then I was leading the team for a year. And then also got promoted or took the move. I wanted to learn the entire sales cycle. I became an account executive. Then my manager at this company moved to a different company called Pleo. And and this is also one of the biggest advices I would say, I'm a people person. I follow people, good people that help each other, cheer each other up, and also push each other. So it became obvious to me that when she left that I also wanted to take the next move, and Pleo was the best option for me, and also had the best people at that time. And that's when I joined Pleo. Also started there in the small segment, and now I just moved up into the large enterprise segment at Pleo. And now I'm sitting here with you. So that's the short story about myself.
Awesome. And you said that you, like a lot of people, you kind of just ended up in sales.
Yeah.
But what really made you stay in sales? What did you kind of fall in love with sales?
I think I'm from Germany. I'm born in Germany, which you can hear from my thick German accent in this podcast. We are really raised with a very bad picture of sales. Right. So when I told my colleagues in Lund, or my classmates in Lund, I would do sales, they were all very shocked nearly, because they said, oh, how are you able to go to this niche? That people are greedy, that people are liars. You're destroying your personal career path there as well. And I'm a challenger myself, so I thought, why are we not changing that image of a salesperson? Because in the end, we're all people, and we want to help the customer in a sense, and we also want to be good at it. So I really sort of fell in love with the picture of breaking the norm of what it means to be a salesperson, right? So maybe be approachable, tell about all the failures, yeah. Also tell when things are not going so rosy, and you not make the commission, or you're on a pip or whatever. And that I really found interesting. On the other side, I've met really, really good people along the way. So the best salespeople, they are not greedy, they are not liars, they are great project managers, great product experts, and are really good in the linguistics as well. So I was really inspired by meeting those people, and for now I've decided to stay on that route, and that's why I'm also in sales. The other component is, of course, the possibility to be responsible for your own commission, right? Sales is, you are in sales because you're also interested in working more, so you hopefully get more money. And that's also something which is pretty unique, because sales has the opportunity to be really, really beneficial for you. And that's, of course, also interesting. If you put in the work, you're able to get high rewards, which, of course, is really, really nice, because you're sort of in charge of your own destiny, which is, really tempting to me.
Awesome. And you mentioned how you kind of started as an intern at Albacross, and then you went to an SDR role after 3 months, and then just kept climbing. What was some of the kind of key steps that you took to really get from an intern to leading the SDR team?
Yeah. I think it was 3 points, if I could break it down. The first one, that I was pretty bold with my ambitions. So I had a pretty clear plan of where I wanted to go, and I was happy to communicate those ambitious goals. The second one, then I went to my manager and asked her if this was possible, and also I came up with a plan myself proactively on how I could do that. And then the third one, my manager kept me accountable to that plan, right? So really, by following up and being accountable to the plan means being on top of your activity, doing the work that is painful, maybe staying 5 minutes longer than anybody else. It really paid off, because I found success in the things I was doing. So really try to, I think you can be bold in what you want to achieve, but you also need to deliver them. And if you combine this with great management, I think you can really achieve great things, because you need someone that's cheering in the back for you, is telling you what things you are doing great, but also what things you can improve. And this was a unique opportunity more for myself, so I just went for it, and it went quite well.
Yeah, because jumping roles after 3 months is really you to get there. You also have to, as you said, have the ambition, but also have someone else to kind of help you on that road as well.
100%. Coming back to that point, I would always advise younger people to look out for the people, right? So the way I personally evaluate companies or job opportunities are people, product, and space. So the first one is, what people are working in that company. If I look in the eye of my manager, do I feel a sparkle? Do I feel excited or not? What product am I selling? So is the product something that excites me, and can I relate to that? And will it also be exciting in 3 years to sell?
Yeah.
So I look at how many engineers the company has, because if they have a lot of engineers, at Pleo we have hundreds of engineers, this is going to be exciting for me in 3 years as well, not only for 6 months. And the third one is the space. Do I like the space? Do I find the space interesting? I could never sell like an industrial machine. I'm just not interested in it, right? So if you have this combination, I think you have a really good base for you to set up a successful ground, and then go for it. In the end, it's hard work.
Yes, love it. Yeah, hard work, ambition, and people around you. I feel like it's one of the secret recipe. And
Exactly.
or being like happy in the workplace that you're at. And then depending on what your ambition is, it's you end up in different places, definitely. I wanna move a bit more into like the way you work in sales. So what are kind of one of the strategies that you find the most effective when approaching new prospects or managing your pipeline then in those lines?
Yeah. I think one really important thing is we can start with the outreach. I think the big question you have to ask yourself is, do I like the process of reaching out to people? What I mean by that is, do I like to cold call people? Do I like to write a good email? Do I like to have those conversations? You probably won't like all of this in the beginning, but is there an opportunity for me to like it? Because if we like and fall in love with the process, the outcome will come.
Sure.
If you're always going to work and you feel regret or anxiety to do the work, then it's probably not your best work, right? Because there's something holding you back, and you probably won't send out the best emails. But if you find this fun and exciting, I think you have a great base. For example, practical example, if you're right now sending out emails that you by yourself wouldn't reply to, why are you sending them?
Sure.
Why are you sending them? Like we're still in the ability to use our brain and make it fun, right?
Yeah.
By making fun, I mean, like, go the additional step and write a nice PS message. Hey, by the way, loved your recent post or whatever. Small steps that can make a big difference. If you're cold calling someone, really ask yourself, why are you interested in speaking to them? Why are you interested in speaking to them? And if you have this clear reason, the cold call becomes exciting because you have a legitimate reason or a trigger that you can actually help them.
Sure.
If you don't have that, it's like we fall into those anxiety, we fall into those tedious tasks, we just feel like someone who's clicking bluntly on a phone.
Sure.
So these are like my practical tips, is to answer the questions, why you, why change, why now?
Sure.
When reaching out to a prospect for yourself. If we take one step ahead and we look into the discovery, as cliche as it sounds, is the make it or break it situation. And there are so many great frameworks that you can look at. Like there are frameworks from all those brilliant influencers that give you all the questions. But here as well, try to be genuinely curious about that person. First about that person, like why are they in the company? What keeps them in the company? Why are in their role? What keeps them in the role? What are the current goals in the role? And understand that person. And then what affects having these problems? How is it building? So really have a genuine interest. And then you're suddenly becoming from a classic like check mark, right? Like you have a checkbox for questions you need to answer into a conversation because you are curious, right?
Yeah.
About that person. So find something that excites you to speak to that person. Can be, I don't know, that you saw they also studied at the same university. You're excited about that. It can be that they just changed their website. It can be that you see that they are hiring. But find like a true point of interest that you genuinely feel, not fake, genuinely feel excited about, and start with that and lead the conversation by that. If you talk about the weather, my manager said to me, you already lost the deal. Because everybody speaks about the weather.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
You're just like you putting yourself at the same level as anybody else. But if I say like, hey, Josefina, really loved, I just saw that you are 2 years or 1 year at Oneflow. How does it feel? Like, what was your next step in the company? I'm really excited to hear your thoughts about. You're directly positioning yourself into a new level directly from the get-go. So these are my like first tips and tricks that I can give.
Yeah, love it. Great tips. I feel like it's just doing the kind of, I can speak from experience, but I feel like doing like a generic outreach won't really get you anywhere because there's so much noise. I mean, just in marketing also, so much noise. You really have to stick out to really get somewhere. So yeah, very great tips. I'm also curious, have you seen a common mistake that people in sales do? It can be either in the outreach or in the discovery or in the closing phase. Like, is there a common mistake? And how do you think that people could avoid that?
Yeah, I think salespeople identify a bit too much as salespeople. But they identify as salespeople, you know, that they need to get the deal, they need to get the sale, they need to make the commission, right? And I've been there as well, you know, like you think, oh, now I'm a salesperson, I have to dress a certain way, I have to express a certain way, I have to wear a specific watch, right? The true answer is, it's a bit like going to the dentist. If you go to the dentist, you have a problem. And maybe the dentist finds like another hole in your teeth or something that needs to be fixed. And you help them to fix that problem. Literally the same. I tell all my SDRs, you are the person that needs to find a hole in the teeth. I'm going to tell them how to fix that, and I'm going to dig deeper, either to make it more painful or to make it less painful for them. So by that, you're not like getting philosophical, but you are the painkiller. You're not like giving a vitamin pill or anything, but you are the painkiller. And then this comes with setting the next steps. Most sales reps would say, what do you like to do in the next step? Imagine you sit at the dentist and the dentist says you have a massive hole, and then the dentist asks you, what do you want to do next, Josephine? You're going to be like, what the hell? You should recognize me, right? So also by summarizing the call and recommending the next steps and booking that next steps in, you are setting yourself apart massively because you are moving yourself from being pushy, like being salesy, towards understanding and advising them and making recommendations on how they can solve their problems. Maybe it was a bit too philosophical, but that is usually a really good picture that I like to look at.
No, I love the kind of comparison with the dentist and I mean, it really makes sense. Just try to, as you say, be the painkiller, relieve their pain. It's you come a long way with that. Yeah. And
the honest truth is, and maybe you have bought software as well, Josephine, is it's hard to buy software. It's not easy. Like, you need to book a demo, then you need to wait, then you have to go through qualification. So you should be the person that knows exactly how they can make the best decision. It can be for your solution, but it can also be a different solution. But by positioning yourself, it's like, hey, listen, I'm here to help you make the best solution. And this is the perfect way to evaluate if our tool is the best one for you, or if this tool is the best for you, right? So then it comes with setting the next steps, right? Setting up a mutual action plan, setting up success criteria, helping them to understand if it's a fit or not. Because yes, they have a problem. Yes, there's something you need to understand, but you are the expert on how to evaluate your tool the best way. And coming in with this confidence and helping them is something that is, I really have learned like during a couple of years, because in the first years I was just like, go, you need to buy this. Of course, they won't buy it in the end.
Yeah. I want to move more towards you on LinkedIn. You are very active and you have gained a lot of followers, and you also have a lot of engagement. So I really want to know how did it start, first off, and if you have any advice to anyone who would like to leverage LinkedIn for social selling.
Yeah. So I was fortunate to have a job in the Corona time. But we didn't have like a big enablement team or anything. So it was a lot of DIYs and learning on the job. And I found great value in certain salespeople that were posting their best practices. So I thought I can do the same because everything was based around US content. But we are a bit different in Europe in a sense, in the cultures, and also, have very local, right? Swedish culture is different than Danish towards German, right? So I thought, well, if they can share their best practices, why am I not doing the same? And I remember it like yesterday, it was my colleague Axel and myself. He was saying, we need to go to this after work. I said, I will, but give me 5 minutes, I will start my first post. So every Thursday, I was trying to share a practical tip on how I booked a meeting during the week. So I was just writing down, this is what I did. And then it became traction. I started like once a week for like 6 months. After that, I gained some traction and I really liked documenting the journey. So I went up with the frequency. So the first tip I would give people is to share your experiences, your real experience that you have. Second one is don't share only the good experiences because being successful is nice, but it's also a bit boring. And it's also a bit hard to relate because the honest truth is in sales, you fail 90% of the time. If you have a 10% reply rate, you are killing it. You usually have a 2% reply rate, right? And if you close 2% of those deals, you are on the top. So sales is actually more about failing. So people can relate to that. So don't only share your experience, let's also be bold to share your negative experience, right? The things that didn't go well, because you can share this so people don't have to do the mistake. So that's what I added then in the second stage, to not only share the positive, but also the negative experiences. And the third one is that the beauty of LinkedIn is that it's a very positive platform, right? If you would take the same platform or the same content to Instagram or Twitter, you would get a lot of trolls and you would get a lot of negative feed. And that's the beauty of LinkedIn that we need to keep, because you're there with your professional brand. You are positive. So you can actually collaborate instead to compete with each other. What I mean by that is you can just ask other, maybe a bit more senior or successful people active on LinkedIn to share their thoughts, to hang out with them, to maybe do a podcast together with them, to interview them, to sort of say collaborate over compete, because we are still in the same place. And that is something that really helped me in the beginning, because I was just curious to learn from them and also connect with them. Don't like ask, hey, can you help me with that? But just be curious to say like, hey, listen, I'm curious how you did this. I'm curious how you wrote your post. I'm curious what drives the engagement at you. So to summarize it, I would start by sharing real life examples. I would try to be authentic, because then when you're authentic, you're the true self. And then the third tip would be to collaborate and not to compete with other, because we are in a community more than a competitive space, so to say.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Love it. Thank you for sharing those tips and advice. Okay, so I want to shift focus a bit more towards the future of the B2B sales space. So are there any kind of trends that you are particularly excited about? Something that you feel kind of wondering, where will this end up in about 5 years?
Yeah. I think overall it will get way more difficult. So outbound will get more difficult, sales is going to be more difficult, and actually maybe if even having a job in more transactional sales will be more difficult. There are two ways to think about it. You can either say, oh my God, I'm going to leave it, or you can embrace it. And you can say, hey, I like it when it gets difficult, because then our profession gets elevated and I need to become better. And I'm more on that route. I think it's going to be harder, but I like that it's getting harder, because then we can all become a better professionals in our space. With that being said, I think AI is going to have a massive impact on how outbound is going to work, where like those personalization skills, they will be probably all going to be automated, right? There are companies like Pleo, there are other software companies that can really, or 11x, that can completely automate the outbound process, meaning that the cold calling skills, the meeting in person skills for an SDR will be even more important, because that is something that I probably cannot replicate in the same pace. So by being personal and bringing on your personal touch, this is something that we need to work on, whether it's cold calling, whether it's building a personal brand, something, because all of those like personalization tricks, they're probably gonna fade away. From an A perspective, we will probably need to do a lot more outbound by ourselves. So a lot more cold calling, because the OCR role is gonna shift. And transactional sales, so maybe more the SMB sales, in my opinion, will have a more difficult time, because transactional sales, on a low ACV, is probably not worth to have a person there anymore. So by professionalizing yourself in more advanced sales, more larger deal scales, longer deal cycles, I think we're gonna benefit a lot more from as a salesperson. So to summarize, I would say it's gonna get harder. It's gonna also be more fun, and like the real life skills like cold calling, building a personal brand, and also more like high level sales, more complex sales will be something that is growing in demand, which could happen. But you never know. Maybe we all find out AI is just an illusion, and we start writing. We start from zero.
Yeah. Interesting.
Another thing I would predict, or I already see, is sending gifts and sending like virtual things to people. So
okay,
I like to send personalized gifts to prospects. Of course, that I'm not bribing them, but like small cards, something really personal, because that really stands out. So when everybody's going in one direction, I try to go to the other direction, right? If everybody goes emails, I try to be on the phones. If everybody's on the phones, I try to send a letter, right? So again, try to enjoy the process and be a bit creative around that.
Yeah, that's a smart move. Then you just like whatever you shift from where the big masses shifted from, you're always sticking out. So yeah, now you just shared your
still that's another thing. Like listening to advice is one thing, but actually doing it is a whole different game.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm always happy to share everything because not everybody has the opportunity to translate those things. So I always encourage to share everything because I think people actually can benefit from it.
Yeah. And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I don't know. I think I'm really excited where Pleo is right now and where Pleo is gonna go next couple of months and years. Right now I'm really trying to focus on becoming the best salesperson I can be. I have a long way to go. I do all the mistakes every day. And try to surround myself with really good people leaders, because at the beginning of the career, this is super important, because that's going to be the person that you're going to become one day, right? So all the leaders are important for me right now. I hope somewhere in the space, maybe as an advisory role or as account executive. Let's see. We never know. If I've learned one thing in my life, that you never know what's going to happen next.
That's true. Yeah, and before we wrap this session up, I'd like to end the interview with some quick questions. So whatever comes to mind, just spit it out.
I'm ready.
Okay. What's one habit that you think has contributed to your success?
Working out during lunch with my colleagues.
Okay. Nice. And who do you learn from?
I learn from. You mean in sales or you mean in general?
No, in general.
My family and my friends.
And which book or podcast would you recommend to someone who wants to develop in their career?
Everything with Jay Shetty and sales related, 30 Minutes to President Club.
Awesome. And lastly, who do you think should be in the next interview?
In the next interview, I think you should either you go really high and take Kyle Coleman because he's my idol, or we also need to think about a female leader. Then it would be Becca, my old boss. She just got director of sales development at Pleo. She's great, and I recommend interviewing her.
Okay, awesome. Well, Jan, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for taking your time, sharing your journey, and all the knowledge that you have. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to be connected. If you want to learn more, you can contact me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer all the questions I get. Please send me a voice note or a video. Please send me a voice note or a video, because that's easiest for me to answer. I'm a big fan of that. DMs, they all get lost, unfortunately, in this weird inbox functionality. So please do that. And otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day, gym session, or whatever you're doing right now.
That's good. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to the show to not miss any future episodes. See you in the next one.